We're going to cover these principles and their development in some depth later in the course. So for now, here's an overview of each one.
All right.
1.
Studying AI.
Bold innovation. We develop AI that assists, empowers, and inspires people in almost every field of human endeavor, drives economic progress, and improves lives, enables scientific breakthroughs, and helps address humanity's biggest challenges. 2. Responsible development and deployment. Because we understand that AI, as a still emerging transformative technology, poses evolving complexities and risks, we pursue AI responsibly throughout the AI development and deployment lifecycle, from design to testing to deployment to iteration, learning as AI advances and uses evolve. 3. Collaborative progress together. We make tools that empower others to harness AI for individual and collective benefit. Establishing principles was a starting point rather than an end. What remains true is that our AI principles rarely give us direct answers to our questions on how to build our products. They don't and shouldn't allow us to sidestep hard conversations. They are a foundation that establishes what we stand for, what we build, and why we build it, and they are core to the success of our enterprise AI offerings. Later in the course, we'll give some suggestions to develop your own set of AI principles within your organization.
Oh, it's done. It's done. Okay, so that was come on, move it. So that was responsible AI, applying AI principles at Google Cloud. Sorry, I just jumped right in. Everybody's just going back to review. I can put this link. It's called Responsible AI. There are jobs behind it. Let's see, I'll just put it in the chat real quick. This is Google Skills. So I'm on a 2-day streak so far. This is pretty cool. Got some experience points in the dashboard. It may not pop up. So here's one I'm also working on for your professional cloud architect. Oh, cool. 7th place in the Bronze League. I just like the competition. So, I got a first course. Can claim that. It's an achievement. Oh no. Go back. Achievements. Oh, there it is again. Claim all. So, okay. Started on the 23rd. Trying to get a 10 days streak. I guess I've done 2 courses. I can get from bronze, silver, gold to diamond, which just gamifies learning. I gotta get to 384 to get 6th place. Wow. First place. He's got a lot of points, but he's got a low streak, so I haven't been using it recently. Catalog, paths, collections. What's the collections exactly? Oh, this is all the different things. So, like right now, I'm just doing AI credentials. I can get a certificate if I complete something. Can't just start everything and not complete something. Skill badge. That's completing a course. You should get a skill badge. Certificate and certification. What's the difference? Oh, I think this is professional level certification. All right, going back to dashboard. And if you click this button over here, get started, it pops up like your free trial. You get $300 worth of playing around money. And I mean, it's real stuff. So I got 61 days left to use anything I borrow those $300. All right. So I'm looking at responsible AI. Responsible AI. This is from what do you want to call it? possible AI work. Professional Cloud Architect Renewal exam. So gotta get it first to get the renewal. Second, I don't see it on here. What's generative AI on here? Okay, so I guess it's generating AI content. The really cool thing I remember hearing a minute ago is there is no real definition of what AI is. Oh, hey, viewer, how's it going? Responsible AI. Why is that not popping up? Introduction to responsible. So that one should be done. Just open a new tab. I think it's the course here. See, this one's 15 minutes. That one should be done. Course complete. That's just 15 minutes. And then here's the 2-hour one. I'm in the middle of this one. And then you can see like the checks on it. It's a course introduction. And I think this is around economist intelligence unit report. So I'm going to go over to contents and just go down. And you can just go in order from top to bottom. And you get your course.
One leading estimate from PricewaterhouseCoopers suggests that AI could boost global GDP by 14%, or up to $15.7 trillion by the year 2030. At Google, we believe that the responsible and fair deployment of AI is a critical factor in realizing this projection. Simply put, we believe that responsible AI is synonymous with successful AI that can be deployed for the long term with trust. We also believe that responsible AI programs and practices afford business leaders a strategic and competitive advantage. To explore the business benefits of responsible AI in depth, we sponsored an original report titled Staying Ahead of the Curve, the Business Case for Responsible AI, which was developed by the Economist Intelligence Unit, or EIU, the Research and Analysis Division of the Economist Group. The report showcases the value of responsible AI practices in an increasingly AI-driven world. It comprehensively presents the impact that responsible AI can have on an organization's core business considerations. It's important to emphasize that the data collected to create this report came from extensive data-driven research, industry expert interviews, and an executive survey program. The report reflects the sentiment of developers, industry leaders deploying AI, and end users of AI. We will share the main findings, and we encourage you to read the full report available in the resources section of this course. We hope you'll use these highlights to draw a connection between your business goals and responsible AI initiatives, which can empower you to influence stakeholders in your own organization. The report is subdivided into 7 sections and includes data on how responsible AI enhances product quality, improves the outlook on acquisition, retention, and engagement of talent, contributes to better data management, security, and privacy, leads to readiness for current and future AI regulations, leads to improvements to the top and bottom line growth, assists to strengthen relationships with stakeholders and investors.
Let's explore the 7 highlights of the Economist Intelligence Unit's report titled Staying Ahead of the Curve, the Business Case for Responsible AI. The first of the 7 highlights from the EIU report says that incorporating responsible AI practices is a smart investment in product development. 97% of EIU survey respondents agree that ethical AI reviews are important for product innovation.
How long is this? 12 minutes.
Ethical reviews examine the potential opportunities and harms associated with new technologies. Ethical reviews examine the potential to multiple risks, including delaying product launches, halting work, and in some cases, pulling generally available products off the market. By incorporating responsible AI practices early and providing space to identify and mitigate harms, organizations can reduce development costs through a reduction in downstream ethical breaches. According to CCS Insight's 2019 IT Decision Maker Workplace Technology Survey, trusting AI systems remains the biggest barrier to adoption for enterprises.
So this is the key point.
And in one study by Capgemini, 90% of organizations reported encountering ethical issues. Of those companies, 40% went on to abandon the AI project instead of solving for those issues. In many reported cases, AI hasn't shifted out of labs and into production because of the real-world risks inherent in the technology. So it makes sense that companies that have reached scale with AI are 1.7 times more likely to be guided by responsible AI. If implemented properly, responsible AI makes products better by uncovering and working to reduce the harm that unfair bias can cause, improving transparency, and increasing security. These are all key components to fostering trust with your product stakeholders, which boosts both the product's value to users and your competitive advantage.
The second highlight from the EIU report states that responsible AI trailblazers attract and retain top talent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The world's top workers now seek much more than a dynamic job and a good salary. As demand for tech talent becomes increasingly competitive and expensive, research shows that getting the right employees is worth it. One study found that top workers are 400% more productive than average, less skilled individuals, and 800% more productive in highly complex occupations, such as software development. Research also shows that it's important to retain top talent when you have it. It can cost organizations around $30,000 to replace entry-level tech employees and up to $312,000 when a tech expert or leader leaves. So what can be done to keep great talent? The Deloitte Global Millennial Survey showed that workers have stronger loyalty to employers who tackle the issues that resonate with them, especially ethical issues. Organizations that build shared commitments in responsible AI practices are best positioned to build trust and engagement with employees, which helps to invigorate and retain top talent.
The third EIU report highlight is the importance of safeguarding the promise of data. According to the EIU's executive survey, cybersecurity and data privacy concerns represent the biggest obstacles to AI adoption. Organizations need to think very carefully about how they collect, use, and protect data. Today, over 90% of consumers will not buy from a company if they have concerns about how their data will be used. Data breaches are very costly for a business. IBM and the Ponemon Institute reported that globally, the average data breach involved 25,575 records and cost an average of $3.92 million, with the United States having the highest country average cost at $8.19 million. The research also found that lost business was the most financially harmful aspect of a data breach, accounting for 36% of the total average cost. Consumers are also more likely to blame companies for data breaches rather than the hackers themselves, which highlights the impact that safeguarding data can have on customer engagement with firms. Enterprise customers also need to be confident that the company itself is a trustworthy host of their data. At Google, we know that privacy plays a critical role in earning and maintaining customer trust. With a public privacy policy, we want to be clear about how we proactively protect. All these findings are clear indicators that using responsible AI practices to address data concerns will lead to greater adoption and business value of AI tech.
The fourth EIU report highlight is the importance of preparing in advance of AI regulation effort to have robust and mature AI regulations globally. EIU executive survey data shows that 92% of U.S. business executives from the 5 surveyed sectors believe that technology companies must be proactive to ensure responsible AI practices in the absence of official AI regulation. Organizations developing responsible AI can expect to experience a significant advantage when new regulations come into force. This might mean a reduced risk of noncompliance when regulation does take effect, or even being able to productively contribute to conversations about regulation to ensure that it is appropriately scoped. The challenge is to develop regulations in a way that is proportionately tailored to mitigate risks and promote reliable and trustworthy AI applications while still enabling innovation in the promise of AI for societal benefit. Take the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, in the European Union, for example. When it was first adopted, only 31% of businesses believed that their organization was already GDPR compliant before the law was enacted. The cost of noncompliance with GDPR was found to outweigh the cost of compliance by a factor of 2.71. Although regulatory penalties are a well-known risk of noncompliance, they accounted for just 13% of total noncompliance costs, with disruption to business operation causing 34%, followed by productivity loss and revenue loss. Reflection on that experience has prompted many organizations to begin planning ahead of AI regulations.
The fifth highlight from the EIU report says that responsible AI can improve revenue growth.
For AI vendors, responsible AI can result in a larger target market, a competitive advantage, and improved engagement with existing customers. Of executives surveyed by the EIU, 91% said that ethical considerations are included as part of their company's request for proposal process, and 91% also said they would be more willing to work with a vendor if they offered guidance around the responsible use of AI.
Yeah.
Furthermore, 66% of executives say their organization has actually decided against working with an AI vendor due to ethical concerns. There is mounting evidence of a positive relationship between an organization's ethical behavior and its core financial performance. For example, companies that invest in environmental, social, and corporate governance measures, or ESG, perform better on the stock market. While recent data shows that the world's most ethical companies outperform the large cap index by 14.4% over 5 years. Customer behavior is also influenced by ethics. A Nielsen survey of 30,000 consumers across 60 countries found that 66% of respondents were willing to pay more for sustainable, socially responsible, and ethically designed goods and services.
Next, the EIU report highlights that responsible AI is powering up partnerships. Investors are increasingly looking to align their portfolios to their personal values, reflected in interest in sustainable, long-term investing. The stakeholder relationship can influence an organization's corporate strategy and financial performance. The broadest definition of sustainable investing includes any investment that screens out unsavory investees. Imagine a scenario where you have a best friend, someone you've known since you were a kid, that you also work with today. One day your manager, whom you are also very close to, confides in you that your childhood friend will soon be laid off from their job, and they ask you to keep it confidential for now. Later that day, your friend calls you to share their excitement that they are planning on buying a new house. Oh no, what do? An ethical dilemma is a situation where a difficult choice has to be made between different courses of action, each of which entails transgressing a moral principle. Not making a decision is the same as making a decision to do nothing. They are uncertain and complicated and require a close examination of your values to solve. It's important to note that an ethical dilemma is different from a moral temptation. A temptation is a choice between a right and a wrong, and specifically when doing something wrong is advantageous to you. Imagine you're leaving a movie theater after seeing a film and notice that another movie you'd love to also see is starting. No one is around to check tickets. Do you go? This would not be considered an ethical dilemma, but a moral temptation. So in our first scenario, do you share the information with your friend despite the request from your manager to keep it quiet? Do you pretend you don't know anything and keep the confidence of your manager? Do you find some other way to warn them without crossing that line? Different opinions are justifiable and could be considered ethical, depending on who you ask. Despite the lack of a right answer, a difficult choice has to be made. When building AI, there are many ethical dilemmas that may need to be confronted due to the impact AI can have on society. This is why the focus on ethics must remain at the forefront in the AI community. Consider these headlines.
That's deep.
Building digital trust will be essential to adoption of AI tools. Great promise but potential for peril. Ethical concerns mount as AI takes bigger decision-making role in more industries. Responsible AI becomes critical in 2021. These headlines highlight the importance of responsible AI for companies and for society. According to a Capgemini report in 2020, there is a growing demand from a wide range of stakeholders, both internal and external, for companies to develop more robust ethical values, processes, expertise, corporate culture, and leadership. But what exactly do we mean when we talk about ethics? In general terms, ethics is an ongoing process of articulating values and, in turn, questioning and justifying decisions based on those values, usually in terms of rights, obligations, benefits to society, or specific virtues. Ultimately, ethics is what allows everyone to flourish together as a society. This isn't to say that there aren't elements of subjectivity and cultural relativity that need to be acknowledged and confronted. When looking at
I get it.
So far, we've explored ethics at a high level. However, there are some ethical concerns that are especially relevant to the advanced technologies AI enables. While this module may not be exhaustive, we'll take a look at some of the themes that receive a lot of attention and tackle them together. So, what are the main AI concerns being raised? The first is transparency. As AI systems become more complex, it can be increasingly difficult to establish enough transparency for people to understand how AI systems make decisions.
Okay.
In many situations, being able to understand how an AI system works is critical to an end user's autonomy or ability to make informed choices. A lack of transparency can also make it harder for a developer to predict when and how these systems might fail or cause unintended harm. Models that allow a human to understand the factors contributing to a decision can help stakeholders of AI systems to better collaborate with an AI. This might mean knowing when to intervene if the AI is underperforming, strengthening a strategy for using the results of an AI system, and identifying how the AI can be improved. A second concern is unfair bias. AI doesn't create unfair bias on its own. It exposes biases present in existing social systems and amplifies them. A major pitfall of AI is that its ability to scale can reinforce and perpetuate unfair biases, which can lead to further unintentional harms. The unfair biases that shape society also shape every stage of AI, from datasets and problem formulation to model creation and validation. AI is a direct reflection of the societal context in which it's designed and deployed. To mitigate harms, the societal context and probable biases need to be recognized and addressed. For instance, vision systems are being adopted in critical areas of public safety and physical security to monitor building activity or public demonstrations. Here, bias can make surveillance systems more likely to misidentify marginalized groups as criminals. These challenges stem from many root causes, such as the underrepresentation of some groups and overrepresentation of others in training data, a lack of critical data needed to fully understand a system's impact, or a lack of societal context in product development. A third AI concern is security. Like any computer system, there is the potential for bad actors to exploit vulnerabilities in AI systems for malicious purposes.
Oh, yeah.
As AI systems become embedded in critical components of society, these attacks represent vulnerabilities with the potential to
This is my
significantly
biggest
affect
concern.
safety and security. Safe and secure AI involves traditional concerns in information security, as well as new ones. The data-driven nature of AI makes the training data more valuable to exfiltrate.
Privacy.
Plus, AI can allow for greater scale and speed of attacks. Concern is privacy.
Okay, so security.
AI presents the ability to quickly and easily gather, analyze, and combine vast quantities of data from different sources. The potential impact of AI on privacy is immense, leading to risks of data exploitation, unwanted identification and tracking,
Yeah.
intrusive voice and facial recognition, and
That's what's
profiling.
happening. Yep.
The expanded use of AI comes with a need to take a responsible approach to privacy. Another concern is AI pseudoscience, where AI practitioners promote systems that lack scientific foundation.
Fake science.
Examples include face analysis algorithms that claim the ability to measure the criminal tendency of a person based on facial features and the shape and size of their head, or models used for emotion detection to determine if someone is trustworthy from their facial expressions.
What?
These practices are considered unscientific and ineffective by the scientific community and can cause harm. However, they've been repackaged with AI in a way that can make pseudoscience seem more credible. These pseudoscientific uses of AI not only harm individuals and communities, but they can undercut appropriate and beneficial use cases of AI. A sixth concern is accountability to people.
Accountability of people.
AI systems should be designed to ensure that they are meeting the needs and objectives of all types of people, while enabling appropriate human direction and control. We strive to achieve accountability in AI systems in different ways, through clearly defined goals and operating parameters for the system, transparency about when and how AI is being used, and the ability for people to intervene or provide feedback to the system. The final AI concern is AI-driven unemployment and de-skilling.
AI-driven unemployment.
While AI brings efficiency and speed to common tasks, there is a more general concern that AI drives unemployment and de-skilling. Further, there is a concern that human abilities will decline as we depend more on technology.
Yeah.
Society has seen technological innovation in the past, and we've adjusted accordingly, like when cars replaced horses but created new industries and jobs previously unimagined. Today, innovation and technology advances are happening faster and at a scale unlike previous times. If generative AI delivers on its promised capabilities, the labour market could face significant disruption.
Ethical practices.
However,
from
jobs will
human
shift,
flourish.
as they always do during any major technological advances. For example, who could have imagined flight attendants before commercial air travel? While many jobs might be complemented by generative AI,
The jobs will be changing.
Google's mission and values have been our guiding principles for many years. However, when thinking about how to responsibly develop and use AI, we need to design a set of AI principles to actively govern our research. Things have changed a lot since then, and the list of organizations that have developed guidelines for the responsible use of AI has grown considerably. Capgemini also found that ethically sound AI requires a strong foundation of leadership, governance, and internal practices around audits, training, and operationalization of ethics. As you work to create AI principles in your organization, we'd like to share the process we took to create ours.
Okay.
We want to acknowledge we are not the only ones implementing AI principles, and you should do your research and take the best learnings from various initiatives. It's our hope that you can learn from our process, challenges, and experiences, and ultimately create and use your own AI principles as a foundation for your development process. From our mission statement and values defined at the beginning, to ongoing work by teams on topics such as ethics and compliance, trust and safety, and created Google an AI-first company. With this company-wide vision as our foundation, we set out to design an AI ethical charter for Google's future technology. This effort would evolve into our AI principles.
So Google's
It's important to note that this journey wasn't always smooth. It's the result of several years of work from many different groups of people, with learning and iterating along the way. We understand this is a complex and evolving topic, and we'll share some of our lessons learned in a later module.
Wow.
But what has shown itself to be true is that it takes ongoing commitment to work toward developing AI responsibly. Today, and in the future, we fully expect to continue iterating on our methods and interpretations as we learn and the field evolves. We believe that organizations and communities flourish when, in addition to individuals' ethical values, there are also shared ethical commitments that each person plays a part in fulfilling. Having a set of shared and codified AI principles keeps us motivated by a common purpose, in addition to the values we all individually hold. Google recognized the need to not only focus on technical development and innovation, but also ensure that development aligned with our mission and values. A cross-functional group of experts was assembled to determine what guidelines were needed to address the important challenges raised by AI. When creating the team, we didn't just rely on functional expertise in artificial intelligence. Instead, individuals were chosen who represented different skills, backgrounds, and demographics across Google. From a skill perspective, we sought people for the core group with backgrounds in user research, law, public policy, privacy, online safety, sustainability, and non-profits. We also sought input from experts in AI, human rights, and civil.
All right. Which of the following, which of the below is one of Google's 7 AI principles? AI should gather user information, unfair bias, operational excellence. I think operational, high standards, uphold high standards for operational. No, that is wrong. That's not it. guess I just gotta go read.
At Google, we believe that rigorous evaluations of how to build AI responsibly are not only the
Where do I see the principles? Which of below is one of Google's 7 AI principles? So is that up here?
Because we understand that AI, as a still emerging transformative technology, poses evolving complexities and risks, we pursue AI responsibly throughout the AI development and deployment lifecycle, improves lives, enables scientific breakthroughs, and helps address humanity's biggest challenges. From design to testing to deployment to iteration, learning as AI advances and uses evolve. 3. Collaborative progress together. We make tools that empower others to harness AI for individual and collective benefit.
establishing principles was a starting point.
Maybe it is this
Public
one,
policy,
which is on.
privacy, online safety, sustainability, and non-profits. We also sought input from experts in AI, human rights and civil rights, and product experts who weren't strictly in the core working group.
7 of them.
We incorporated input across a broad range of diverse voices, including people from different countries, genders, races, ethnicities, and age groups. We also developed ways for the law and civil society, without seeing our draft principles, to come up with their own shortlist. We then shared our draft
British
principles
shortlist.
created from research to compare.
Principles.
And finally, we gathered their reactions and highlighted gaps to bring back to the internal working group for further consolidation. We engaged in a continuous feedback and refinement process to further consolidate the list of principles while maintaining a wide breadth of coverage and recognizing anything we may have overlooked.
So I find out what those
What resulted
principles
was
are.
Google's AI principles, including 7 objectives for AI applications,
Yeah, here we
which
go,
guide our
7.
design for across all parts of our business. Acknowledging what we explicitly won't build at all is just as critical as outlining what we will. This work culminated when Google published our AI principles in June of 2018.
How do I see
As a
that?
company, we remain dedicated to putting these principles into practice every day. They're incorporated into daily conversations. They form the foundation for research on ethical requirements, standards, and practices in AI has grown a lot since then, uses and industries to help you get started. For example, if your company is involved specifically in creating chatbots for customer support, while there may be core themes, some of your
A core part of AI governance is a robust issue spotting practice. Issue spotting is the process of recognizing the potential for ethical testing to try and make this process more efficient with
Hey.
checklists, or outlining what is and isn't possible for each principle.
Yeah,
We know it's
usual
tempting
person
because we
idea.
tried it. We tried to create decision trees and checklists that would ensure our technology would be ethical. That didn't work. The reality is that we need to address ethical issues, not just in familiar products or use cases, but also by recognizing new risks that we have never seen before emerging from new technologies. Each use case, customer, and social context is unique. A tool or solution aligned with our AI principles in one context could be misaligned in another. Technologies we've never imagined are being developed at rapid speed and scale that require an adaptive process, not rigid, prescriptive yes or no answers. It's not feasible to expect a
All right, we have one viewer.
Create a simple checklist for each use case to meet your AI principles. We've learned that there's no replacement for careful review of the facts of each case. Noticing them gets easier with practice. On your way to work, you probably passed a lot of birds, but you probably didn't really notice them. Now imagine if you were a trained bird watcher.
Okay.
You'd be more sensitized to the species you encounter
I'm a
along your
trained bird
route
watcher.
and much more likely to notice the intricate differences in birds you pass every day. Similarly, in issue spotting, the goal is to become more sensitized to be able to quickly and accurately identify and classify ethical issues and risks. As with bird watching, you see more as a team.
God.
At Google, we have identified some core ethical aims that make up our AI principles. The first, be socially beneficial, seeks to support healthy
here
social
it
systems and
is. That was
institutions.
it.
For example, this might mean preventing
Socially
automated systems
beneficial.
from unfairly denying essential services for people's well-being, like employment, housing, insurance, or education. The
This
principle
is
also
the-
aims
this
to
is
reduce
the
the risk of
video. I'm
social
gonna
harm
put this
in terms
on
of quantity,
YouTube.
severity, likelihood, and extent. It aims to diminish risks to vulnerable groups, and it also aims to reduce the risk of unintended harms. The second principle, avoid creating or reinforcing unfair bias, aims to promote AI that creates fair, just, and equitable
is the
treatment of
one.
people and groups. It should limit the influence of historical bias against marginalized groups in training data, both through data that's included
Chat.
and data that's absent or invisible due to historical exclusion. Through this principle, we pay close attention to the impact that technology discrimination might have on the usefulness of the product for all users.
Okay.
Take, for example, someone doing an image search for wedding. An AI image classifier trained on bias data might only apply the label wedding to images of couples wearing traditional Western wedding attire. However, an image where the couple is wearing traditional wedding attire from another culture may just be labeled as people instead of wedding. What this demonstrates is how this image classifier may not recognize wedding images from different parts of the world or cultures. These are not the kinds of labels and distinctions we want to be seeing, and this would be an example of a data set that doesn't reflect our global user base.
Oh, this is
Underrepresentation,
This
as
is
depicted
actually
in this
really
example, is harmful. Recognizing this, Google is committed to building global products that are intended to work for everybody. To bring greater representation across the full range of diversity, Google ran a competition that invited global citizens to add their images to an extended dataset because training data has to be able to represent societies as they are, not as a limited dataset might represent them. What's important to recognize is that unfairness can enter into the system at any point in the ML lifecycle, from how you define the problem originally. Within that lifecycle, the way we sample data, the way we label it, who are the intended users, what other groups may be impacted, what groups are invisible today. These questions have a huge impact on how datasets and models get developed. Some of these questions seem
here
simple,
we go. Here's the
but are in
next part.
fact often underestimated, which can result in significant last-minute changes to projects, or even cancelling projects altogether. At its core, doing AI responsibly is about asking hard questions. The third,
Okay, so be socially beneficial, avoid creating a reinforced unfair bias, be built and tested for safety, be accountable to people, incorporate privacy design principles, uphold high standards of scientific excellence. I thought I picked that a minute ago. Did I pick something else? Be made available for uses that accord with these principles. Scientific
Once you have-
excellence. No, we're not doing that. We're gonna go back to the quiz. And I know it's the scientific excellence. Yeah, I should uphold high standards of scientific excellence. What is this? Oh, this is the document. Okay, so download the document. Just put it in the downloads. That's all the resource links. Course badge.
Once you have your AI principles defined, then for establishing the values use standards processes is a critical first step in establishing what your goals are. Technical tools are only useful if you have clear responsibility goals. A dedicated process promotes a culture of responsible AI, often not present in traditional strong ethics, could evaluate the same situation, or AI will guarantee ethical AI products. The reality conception is that hiring ethical people will guarantee ethical AI products.
Okay, yes.
The reality is that two people considered to have strong ethics could evaluate the same situation, or AI solution, and come to very different conclusions based on their experiences and backgrounds.
Yes.
Research in the World Economic Forum report, Ethics by Design, suggests that even the most ethical people can be subject to ethical blind spots. This is why it's important to build
Yes,
practices
ethical
around
blind
ethical decision making and making
blind
space for
spot.
ethical deliberation. Both are big factors in achieving ethical outcomes.
That's cool.
Another common misconception is that it's possible to create a checklist for responsible AI. Checklists or decision trees can feel
It's
comforting,
impossible.
but in our experience, checklists are ineffective at governance for such nascent technologies.
Yeah.
For every product, both the technical details and context in which it's used are unique and
All
require its own
different people.
evaluation. Following a checklist can place boundaries on critical
All
thinking and lead to
colors.
ethical blind spots. Essential to AI
Red,
governance
green,
is having
blue,
programs and
yellow.
practices to support the review of your technologies. These procedures allow your teams to exercise moral imagination, which is envisioning the full range of possibilities in a particular situation, products, and deals
Cool.
for alignment with our AI principles.
Innovate.
The committee structure consists of the following AI governance teams. A central responsible innovation team provides guidance to teams across different Google product areas that are implementing AI principle review, policy and privacy advisors, and legal.
Here goes responsible innovation team. User researchers, social scientists, ethicists, I can't say that, human rights specialists, policy and privacy advisors, and legal experts. You know, all of them right there.
Legal experts, among others, which allows for diversity of perspectives and disciplines. The second AI governance team in our committee structure is a group of senior experts from a range of disciplines across Google who provide technical, functional, and application expertise. These experts inform strategy and guidelines around emerging technologies and themes and consult on reviews when required. Use case, training data,
Custom
societal
AI
context,
governance.
and how the AI is integrated.
The technology, use case, training data, societal context, how AI is integrated into production.
In production. A best practice for reviews across all teams is to seek participation from a diverse range of people, which ensures robust and trustworthy
diversity
outcomes.
is good.
Google Cloud develops a wide range of technologies for enterprises that build and implement AI through our AI platform, Vertex AI, MLOps capabilities, APIs, and end-to-end solutions. Google Cloud has implemented our own custom AI principles review processes, as we believe that products
cool.
to determine whether a proposed use case conflicts with our AI principles. The Cloud AI Product Development Review focuses on how we assess, scope, build, and govern products Google Cloud creates, using advanced technologies before a product can become available to the public.
Okay.
These review processes answer two big questions. Is the proposed use case aligned with our AI principles? And if it is, how should we approach the design and integration of this solution to ensure the intended benefit is realized and harms are mitigated? Even the most socially but risk not being aligned with our principles before the deal moves forward. This review, they apply any relevant historical precedent, discuss and debate potential AI principles risks, and request additional information where required, until certain conditions or metrics are met, or escalate decision. The decisions here are made by consensus, societal context in which the product is going to be integrated, and its potential risks and harms.
The following case study outlines how our AI principles and review processes shaped Google Cloud's approach to facial recognition technology. Let's start with the trained AI model, meaning it's not customizable, that's able to recognize thousands of popular actors and athletes from around the world based on licensed images. This is Google Cloud's. In early 2016, cloud leadership decided facial recognition would not be a part of the Cloud Vision API offering, despite it being a top request from our customers. To explore this further, we took facial recognition through an early iteration of our AI principles review process. These reviews gave us the open forum and time to think critically about the research, societal context, and challenges of the technology. We've seen how useful the spectrum of face-related technologies can be for people and for society overall. They can make products safer and more secure, like using face authentication to control access to sensitive information. There are uses with tremendous social good, such as nonprofits using facial recognition to fight against the trafficking of minors. But it's important that these technologies are developed thoughtfully and responsibly. Google shares many of the widely discussed concerns over the misuse of facial recognition technology. Namely, it needs to be fair, so it doesn't reinforce or amplify existing biases, especially where this might impact underrepresented groups. It should not be used in surveillance that violates internationally accepted norms, and it needs to protect people's privacy, providing the right level of transparency and control. To reduce the potential for misuse and make the technology available for an enterprise use case aligned with our AI principles, Google decided to pursue a tightly scoped facial recognition application for celebrity recognition. To prepare for launch readiness of the Celebrity Recognition API, along with our own internal review processes, we sought help from external experts and civil rights leaders. We recognized that our lived experience wouldn't necessarily align with the lived experience of impacted people, and we needed help incorporating those experiences and concerns into our review. Systematic underrepresentation of Black. The first thing we checked was whether the skin tone labels in our dataset were accurate.
Skin tones.
It was discovered they weren't completely accurate for medium and dark colors with the largest number of errors, and found that they had nearly 100% false rejection rate. Due to the reduced scope of the Celebrity Recognition API, we were able to go one by one through the test setting, leads to successful integration of AI. In mid-2020, we welcomed the news that other technology companies were limiting or exiting their facial recognition business given the wider concerns about the technology. Ultimately, our AI governance process allowed us to research and scope a product that aligned with our AI principles. Today, Google has released the Monk Skin Tone MST scale, a more refined skin.
At Google, when we put our AI principles into practice, a key part of the AI governance and review process is issue spotting. This is the process of identifying possible ethical issues that require people to think critically about the technology that they've developed. These questions are rooted in well-established ethical decision-making frameworks, including overall product definition, what problem is being solved, its intended users, what data is being used, and how the model is trained and tested, official applications of the use case, and the potential for misuse. These questions are intended to highlight the implications of design decisions that could impact fair and responsible use of the AI model. We assess all AI use cases, starting from an assumption. The causes of ASD are deeply. We'll review a fictional product called the Autism
Spectrum
Spectrum
Disorder,
Disorder, ASD, CareBot, adapted from a case study created by the Markula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara University. The causes of ASD are deeply debated, though research indicates that its prevalence
that
is
is
increasing
considered.
and that children diagnosed early and with speech, gesture, facial sentiment analysis, and personalized learning modules to reinforce positive social interactions. In issue spotting, it's useful to first identify the questions needed to think critically about the use case. Questions such as, who are the stakeholders for this product? What do they hope to gain from it? Do different stakeholders have different needs? How might each of the AI principles either be fulfilled or violated with the development and use of the ASD CareBot? Your AI principles review may ask more questions than you can immediately answer, but the analysis will uncover areas for exploration that will ultimately impact how your team proceeds. From a social benefit standpoint, the aim of the product is to expand access to a form of therapy not currently available for all who could benefit from it. However, is this the best or right way to offer this therapy, and should ASD be treated as something that needs this type of intervention at all? The goal of avoiding the
That's
creation
really specific.
Our journey to operationalize Google's AI principles required the collaboration and diligent work of many. We continue to learn a lot about this process, both from our successes and challenges, and are committed to iterating, evolving, and sharing along the way to help you on your journey.
Operational.
Next, we'll explore some challenges we often encounter during the AI principles process, all of which we suspect might not be unique challenges to Google alone. This impact metrics and quantifiable results, measuring the effectiveness of mitigations that prevent a potential harm or issue from happening, is not easy. Friends, and established precedents. Another challenge is around ethical dilemmas.
All right, so here's some challenges. Measuring the effectiveness of responsible AI. Ethical dilemmas often arise. Applying our AI principles can seem subjective or culturally relative. Direct input from external domain experts and affected groups. All right, so this is stuff that we don't generally deal with on a daily basis.
Are a core goal of an AI principles review. Working through these dilemmas requires open and
But
honest
it's very high
conversations,
level.
and an understanding that these aren't easy decisions to make.
Responsible AI.
These conversations ultimately help identify and assess the trade-offs between our choices. Yet another challenge is that
Principles.
applying our AI principles can seem subjective or culturally relative. A few ways we reduce the subjectivity include having a well-defined AI principles review and decision-making process to foster trust in that process, grounding the review in
One
technical,
mechanics of
research, and
this.
business realities connects the mitigations to real-world issues, documenting how decisions were made can provide necessary domain experts and affected groups. This is critical, but it's not easy, and we want to recognize that the process of doing so can be difficult. No one person can represent the viewpoints of the group starts with that
Because
recognition.
humans just made up our world. We've made up our society.
We'll now explore some of the
are
lessons we've learned
robots.
from operationalizing our AI. Encourage you to select, adapt, and evolve these best diverse in cultural identity, expertise, and seniority. And at Google, we have found this to a top-down mandate where senior leadership endorses the adoption of AI principles is necessary, but it's not enough. We've learned that a true cultural transformation requires organization-wide adoption. Our experience is that bottom-up engagement from teams helps normalize it and is a critical step when embedding responsible AI into a company's culture. It's also our experience that teams are likely to be very interested in the topic of responsible AI, often with their own opinions and beliefs on the topic. Harnessing that drive and knowledge is beneficial to overall adoption. At Google, responsible AI
This is
adoption
silly.
comes from educating our teams.
This is saying
Therefore, we suggest that you
not
train your
bosses
product and
are
technical
telling
teams on
everybody
tech
what to do,
ethics
it's gotta
and
everybody
encourage
tell
non-technical
bosses.
stakeholders
We
to develop an
want
understanding of the
AI.
technological, business, and societal impacts of AI. This helps to build a conflict, when in reality, releasing a product that works well for everyone is good for business and good for the world.
Yeah.
We strive for transparency. At Google, we've also learned that the work we do now can affect our future decisions. Therefore, responsible AI initiative can scale to reach more people.
God,
Questions
this is long.
and areas of misuse, harms for your customers. Although our AI principles require interpretation and an element of trial and error, at Google, we believe that rigorous evaluations of how to build AI responsibly are not only the right thing to do, they are a critical component of creating successful AI. Products and technology should work for everyone. Our AI
Products and
principles keep us
technology should
motivated
work
by a
for
common
everyone,
purpose,
yes.
guide us to use advanced technologies in the best
I mean,
interest of
everything
people
we
around the
say
world,
is correct.
and help us make decisions that are aligned with Google's mission and core values. We will have a role to play in how responsible AI is applied.
Except for
Our
you
aim
can
is
say
that through taking this
difficult,
course,
there's
you've gained an
reason
understanding
why
of how
it's
we at Google
difficult.
developed our AI principles and how we've operationalized them within the organization. Our hope is that you can take the lessons learned and best practices from this training as a starting point to work with your teams to further your responsible AI strategy. Our challenge to you
This
is that you now take
general. Okay, quiz is done. Resource links are done. I saved it, and I have a completion badge. What is the big picture of? It needs more interaction, not just videos. I mean, that was just video after video after video. Too much lecture. Just lecture, lecture, lecture. There aren't parts of the training. Strongly disagree. The lecture parts, slide. Increase my understanding. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Okay, so the video was great. I can't spell video. The video was great, but really needs more interaction. Maybe a quiz after every video. Okay, submit. I'm done. You are welcome. Can I go back to here? Okay, so leave the course. I'm done with that. How long was that? It was 45 minutes. Good grief. That's way too long. Course badge. You are now left responsible. So and now went from like I guess 6th place to 4th place. I don't really care about the points for that. Oh, I didn't do anything yesterday. Oh no. I was too busy. Okay. I have 0 labs. It was all those videos. I need some classroom, path, the path. Where's the path? Integrate generative AI, deploy manage generative AI, everything generative AI. I guess explore catalog. Let's go to that path, learning path. Getting started with Google Cloud. Google Architect. There we go. That's what I want. So this should have everything in it for the architect. There it is, preparing for your professional cloud architect journey. That's what I was doing. Wow, there's so much stuff in here. You can study for so many hours. Cloud architect path. Okay. Oh, build infrastructure with Terraform on Google Cloud. Yeah, I did that. Oh man, gotta get back into it. That was just 1 hour. Google Cloud security. This is the big one. Getting started with Terraform on Google Cloud, so you can automate it. Cool. I guess I just start. Is that what I do? Is that going to get me on a tour of Google Cloud hands-on? Plan started. Download that. Save it. It's a path. Well, the books are like 30 pages long. It'd be like, where do I go? Knowledge check. Where am I? Am I down here? Introduction, design. So knowledge check. So how far? Oh, it's just 2 questions. This is easy. What could Symbol Direct use to estimate cost for their Google Cloud environment? See, that's good. So how do you estimate the cost? You got to use a calculator. Estimating costs. Wait, that's not architect level. Whatever. If you could have business requirements to minimize costs, what are things you can do? So you want to minimize costs. What do you want to do? Cap costs of creating a budget. Do not run instances. And that would be it. Maybe right sizing. But I'm going to do cap costs and do not run instances. I don't know if cap costs will actually do that. If you create a budget, I don't think it really caps costs. I don't think this is reality. I think it's going to follow Google's right sizing recommendations. I don't know what this means, right sizing. I don't think you can cap costs. What would shut down? I'm just gonna do this. Here we go, let's try it. Well, that was it. So, right sizing recommendations. Google will evaluate your instance's usage and make recommendations, and you should listen to them, how to save money. Oh, even improve performance by resizing it. Yeah, never run instances when not being used. That's basic. Passing score is 50. That's really low.
Welcome to Module 2, Managing and Provisioning a Solution Infrastructure.
I'm still 1.5.
In this module, you'll explore the scope of tasks involved in managing and provisioning SimpleDirect's solution infrastructure in Google Cloud, which corresponds to Section 2 of the Professional Cloud Architect Exam Guide.
You already listened to that. Oh, no.
We'll start by discussing some of the considerations involved in configuring SimpleDirect's infrastructure. Next, you'll assess your skills in this section through 10 diagnostic questions. Then we'll review these questions. Based on the areas you need to learn more about, you'll identify resources to include in your study plan.
The other screen will be Google Cloud Console. I'm going to put this in the chat too. This one's really good. How good is that? Dashboard. Okay, so I enrolled in a path, so I got an achievement. I heard that I had to get a path of some sort. Network engineer. I could do that one, but professional cloud developer. I think I'm doing architect. I can't even see it on here. Explore more paths. Format, learning path. And there's the architect. And that's what Google Gemini, my buddy, told me to do. Very highly influenced by AI from all of my experience. It makes a lot of sense. Level, yeah, you could do any level: introductory, intermediate, advanced. I think I'm on the advanced level. Language, yeah, any language you can do. We have Japanese, yeah, Nihongo de Marco, Kangokuno, Korean, Brazil, Portuguese. Oh wow, they got 2 different Portuguese. That's cool. I guess it's like 2 different Englishes. Kambun, Jibun, Russian, Polish, Italian, Indonesian, Thai, something maybe, Francais, Espanol, Deutsch, and Arabic. That's so cool. And you have like a time. I like keep it short. I know this study period's kind of long. Badge, you can just get skill, you can get completion badge. I just lost my whole thing. What the heck? Ready to go. Alright, let's go to advanced. I think architects can come up. Language, English, duration. What's going on? This thing in hard, there's nothing available. Cloud architect. And I think it should already be in it. Continue. Okay, cool. All these little bubbles. I think I'm here, right here, preparing for your professional cloud architect journey. When I finish that, I can go to one of the others. I have to finish all of them, then I've completed the whole path. The home, the dashboard. So I'm trying to get all these achievements, so this should be fun. So first path enroll. So I guess first path means I completed the path. That's gonna be really hard. First lab, that'll be easy. Streaks. Oh, just did 10 labs. Ooh, 50 labs. And all those courses, there's a bunch of courses in that path. So I might get 10 or 25. 5 paths. Holy cow. 50 paths. Perfect if I just stick with it, with the street count, I think I'll do fine. What scares me is I'm on a high-level path. Anyways, I mean, it's just studying. Whatever you learn, you can use. I think that's enough for today, though. Don't burn out anybody. Never burn out. Always have fun with what you're doing. You need a little bit of grit, a little bit of pain. Professional Cloud Developer Certification Learning Path. That sounds cool. Oh, SEIM. SIEM. I think that is with security. SIEM. That sounds really familiar. Security Information and Event Management. Yes. That's really cool. Everything in here is cool. What is SOAR? Security. SOAR, security orchestration. Orchestration. Okay, go back. I'm gonna do that. Network engineer, explore paths. There's no way we did. There's 81 paths in here. API developer, that's cool. Google Cloud Infrastructure for Azure. Azure and Google Cloud. Oh, AWS. Oh, that's so cool. They're all together. What? How does that work? I don't know which one to click on. I want to click on the Azure one. That is wild. What? I gotta see this. Not in here. I don't think I have. Is it zeros on the lab? I think it's building the lab. And it froze up. I just gotta see it. Start lab. I'm not a robot. Oh my god. Oh, there's another type of thing. They cost 5 tokens. What? How do you buy a token? How do you get a token? What the heck? Get out of that. That's awkward. I guess it's for subscriptions. Oh no, that's scary. Okay, so 35 free credits. And then, what is this? $29 a month, you get access to thousands of courses. What is this? Annual. $349. What just happened? No idea what that was about. Google Skills. I guess that's everything. Apply your skills in Google Cloud Console. I keep clicking that. That's more fun. But I really want to get like a mission. Like here, do this. Where am I? Go to the top. So it says 1 hour. How far can I get in this thing? Get down to here. Provision your cloud solution.
Let's begin by exploring the role of a professional cloud architect in provisioning and deploying a solution on Google Cloud that meets Symbol Direct's requirements. As a professional cloud architect, you need to understand the cloud computing services available, how to configure them, and most importantly, how to select the right service for the task at hand. You've already chosen networking, compute, and storage resources for Symbol Direct's cloud solution. You'll now review the diagnostic questions and your answers to help you identify what to include in your study plan. The diagnostic question.
Okay. This is the study plan. And next is the knowledge check. Which storage class should you use for data that is going to be accessed once every 2 weeks? That's standard, right? Nearline. Oh my gosh. Now we can use the, is it this one? Oh no, that was responsible. This one. Okay, so zoom in. Too much. This does not look like it. This looks like just, we're gonna get rid of that. I don't think we're gonna use that. Let's say nearline. Yeah, there's just 2 questions. Which network configuration would ensure low latency for U.S. drone pilots? Low latency for U.S. Only deploy resources in regions in the U.S. U.S. Why is that? Is that? Nearline is appropriate for storage access less than once every 30 days. Let me take this. Is that just standard? You're gonna access this once every 2 weeks. It's kind of cold in the US. Okay, so those are standard because that's frequent use. Okay.
Welcome to Module 3, Designing for Security and Compliance. In this module, you'll explore considerations for security and compliance when architecting solutions in Google Cloud, which corresponds to Section 3 of the Professional Cloud Architect Exam Guide. We'll start by discussing how a professional cloud architect can address security. Let's begin by exploring the role of a professional cloud architect in provisioning and deploying a solution on Google Cloud that meets Symbol Direct's requirements. As a professional cloud architect, you need to understand the cloud computing services available, how to configure them, and most importantly, configuration choices that you'll have to make as a professional cloud architect. Next, focus on the different products, services, and practices and decide how to. You realize that the service was initially set up with DNS load balancing to ensure traffic could easily be sent to a second region, but this resulted in some traffic being sent to locations further away. You decided to move to a global external application load balancer and use a custom network with only nearby regions to ensure low latency when streaming data from the drones. You looked at the default and auto mode networks, but realized that a custom mode network would prevent the network from deploying resources to regions with high latency and choose a global external application load balancer because it gave a single global IP address, which routes traffic to the closest backend. Not using the default network meant that you actively had to configure your firewall rules and not just inherit the default rules for HTTP, HTTPS, ICMP, SSH, and RDP. After making the decision to use custom mode networks instead of the default network, you decide to ensure that this practice is followed by configuring an organizational policy constraint. You decided to set 2 constraint policies: compute.skip default network creation and compute.restrict shared VPC subnetworks. This will prevent a default network from being created for new projects and ensure that resources are only deployed to approved subnets, reducing the possibility of drone pilots experiencing latency. For more information on organizational policy constraints, see our online documentation. Symbol Direct has decided to deploy containers to Cloud Run for new services to address the technical requirement to standardize on containers and favor managed services. You looked at GKE, Compute Engine, and Anthos and chose to use a mix of compute options. Because Symbol Direct wants to ensure their applications scale with minimal latency, you decided to configure Cloud Run with a relatively high number of minimum instances. This reduces the number of cold starts by ensuring that Symbol Direct has containers available to facilitate new requests. Cloud Run is the preferred option. However, GKE lets Symbol Direct lift and shift the application from the existing environment. Compute Engine lets Symbol Direct use existing monolithic applications that would run on VMs, while still providing the benefit of Google Cloud's scalability, programmatic access, and low costs. For deployments that have stateful information, such as databases, or where the developer prefers to preserve their existing workflow, you've chosen to leverage GKE for their website front end and pilot and truck management systems running on Kubernetes. You have also decided to leverage GKE's auto-scaling features and reuse many of the same deployments from your previous data is a new service. So you spoke with the developers about how often you thought they would need access to archival video.
I'm just going to look at this really quick. So we start here, structured or unstructured. We're going to do structured. Okay, consider a structured database service. Unstructured. Are we reading less than once per year? Okay, just archive. Less than once per 90 days. I can do less than one. That's 0. Cold line, or less than once per 30 days. Oh, I get it. Less than once per 30 days. So I read 30, 30, 31, 32. Near line. More than that is standard. Near line, cold line, archive. Because any of these, you'll get charged if you go over that. Keep.
Because the developers do not know how often the data will be read, you decide to start by writing data to a standard storage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's your turn to assess your experience and skills related to this section with some diagnostic questions. Remember, these questions are intended to help you understand or diagnose which areas you'll want to focus on in your study plan, so we don't expect you to know.
Can we do that? I guess we didn't do that. Oh my god, there's so many questions in here. Alright, let's see. I'm going to do some random checky checks. This is how I roll. This is a technique. So you have random checks. You could pass if your luck is in your favor. You have deployed your front-end web application in Kubernetes. Okay? Based on historical use, you need 3 pods. Occasionally your load will be doubled, so that's 6. Load balancers are already in place. How could you configure environments to efficiently meet that demand? Edit your deployment's configuration file and change the number of replicas to 6. Auto scale. Just occasionally you need 6, roughly double. Use the Kubernetes auto scale command to change the pods maximum meters. You need the deployments because it's the pods. Okay. Simple Direct wants to create a pipeline to automate the building of new application releases. What sequence of steps should you use? Create a pipeline to automate the building of new application releases. Automate the building. Okay. So we're building new application releases. Set up the repository. That should always be first. Checking code. How do you run unit tests if you don't have the code in there? So I'm just going to go to the first one. You need to deploy a load balancer for a web-based application with multiple backends in different regions. Okay, you want to direct traffic to the backend closest to the end user. Direct traffic to the backend closest to the end user. That makes sense. But also on different backends based on the URL the user is accessing. Which of the following could be used to implement this? Why would you do that? Different backends based on the URL. The request is received by the proxy network load balancer, which uses a global forwarding rule to check the URL map. This is so long. The request is matched by a URL map, then sent to a global external application load balancer. This sounds like overkill. The request is received by the global external application load balancer. My brain is mush reading this one. The request is matched by a URL map and this to a proxy network load balancer. The global forwarding rule sends the request to a target proxy. What? Which sends a backend service, which selects a backend service. Selects a backend service. And sends the request to compute engine in multiple regions. Backend service sends the request to compute engine in multiple regions. It's worded differently. It's one of these two. Global external application. Oh wait. Oh my god, they mixed up the whole language on all four of these. Oh. I'll have to learn that, I guess. Oh wait, I have an idea. I'm gonna cheat. Let's see how we do this. Let's go ahead and chat. Let's just go fast. Oh man. Global external application load balancer. Global external application load balancer. I gotta have a visual. Global. Can't even see it, it's so small. Global cloud load balancer. External application load balancer. This is what I was used to. Oh, here's an AWS one. Load balancer. Cloud DNS. Cloud run. It uses a forwarding rule to a target proxy, which then uses the URL map to route traffic to the appropriate backend service based on the path, while naturally directing users to the closest regional instance group. It's got some link with it. Ooh, this is cool. What is this? We get any pictures? Need a picture book. I'm gonna make a children's book for this. Okay, here we go. So here's the internet. Firewall rules, proxy, only subnet. And we're all inside a regional external application load balancer. And here's first forwarding rule, regional, target HTTPS, proxy, regional, get SSL certificate, URL map, backend service, and then multiple backends. So, blah, blah, blah. The global external application load balancer is a level 7 load balancer. It's needed to base it on the URL. Proximity routing by using a global balancer with backend instance groups in multiple regions. Google's Anycast IP automatically terminates the connection at the edge. Okay. URL map, which is video and static. And the URL, the flow goes from forwarding to target proxy URL backend service. Network load balancer are blind. Yeah, okay. Reverses logic. URL map is a resource used by the target proxy. Okay. Well, I want to know. Get rid of that. You want to direct traffic on the backend closest to. Okay, I get that. Maybe I can word this out. Let's put this side by side. So let me tell this, okay? I I understand that I would like to direct traffic to the backend closest to the end server. What I don't understand is why would we need to have different backends based on the URL the user is accessing? Isn't it more important to keep the backend closest to the end user? And of course, text, or was it speech to text, has explosives. Oh my god. What was that? It says different backends based on the URL the user is accessing. Anyways, I'll put explosives in here because it's funny as heck. Closest to the user handles speed, while URL-based routing handles specialization. Both are important. But URL routing allows you to save money. Let me just do the F11. Let's see this. Okay, so we're going to save some money. Resource. URL routing allows you to save money and improve performance, like videos and text. Keeping your backend close reduces latency. Resource efficiency. 3 main reasons: specialized hardware, that's the cost optimization. Images, static, they can be sent to a backend server for storage. API checkout, these require high CPU. What? Why is an API called host CPU? Oh my god. Why it matters. Save a customer money, not over provisioning expensive servers. Search might be a Python service. Profile might be a Go service. Oh. And microservices. Now it makes sense. Microservices. That makes a whole lot of sense. That's why I could break it down. If you don't understand something, always look it up. Dang. About to ask about that other one. Okay. And then 3, independent scaling. Customers doesn't mitigate a certain surge in traffic. The blogs, but no one is using the actual app. Load balancer needs to spin up more blog servers. Proximity closest backend or routing logical settings. Closest was explosives. STT error. Speech to text. Not pyrotechnics. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna look up here real quick. So why does the API or checkout require high CPU and RAM? I didn't even imagine that would cost so much. I mean, I guess my APIs had low CPU, but maybe I'm misunderstanding something. I need to understand this part. Your current APIs are likely efficient, but heavy APIs like checkouts cost more because they need thinking. Logic, security, database writing. Okay. CPU tasks. Oh, for encrypt and decrypt. That's the brain. So they're talking to Stripe, PayPal. Then they're in the inventory, database read and write. Yeah. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Cool. That was question number 3. I'm mentally worn out. I don't think I can do any more of this. That was number 3. A request is received by the global external application load balancer. A global forwarding rule sends the request to a target proxy, then checks the URL map and selects the backend service. Backend service sends the request to compute engine instance group in multiple regions. Holy crap. I'm just going to end it there because it's been an hour and 20 minutes.
You'll now review the diagnostic questions and your answers to help you identify what to include in your study plan.
Wait a second. What just happened? Was that it? Oh, here it is. There's the diagnostic questions. Oh, I gotta go to the bottom. I gotta press submit. Fail it. Okay, so I got third. Well, I failed the first one. A deployment specifies the number of pods. So it was deployments. And 3 was right. Okay, cool. And everything else as well. Alright, I'll have to redo that. Give me a big X on it. Press retake. Cool. Maybe it mixes it up or something. I'll have to redo it. Another time, another day, another place. That's it, everybody. This was a nice, good live study with 100 people. Good night.